I'm Lucy Edwards, Director of Strategic Engagement at Metaport and VHT Studios. And today we're at Coldwell Banker, and I'm here with Dawn McKenna team. It's a great pleasure to meet you, Tory and Caitlin. So please introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you for having us. I'm Tory Rezin. I am one of the Dawn McKenna Group's Senior Leads in Chicago, and I've been with the team for about roughly 5 years.
And I'm Caitlin Skogsbergh. I am Tory's co-lead in downtown Chicago, and I've been with the team for about 7 years.
So let's talk about your team. Great, successful team. You are in 6 states or 5 states, soon to be in Utah, I believe, right?
Right.
And you have 30 plus agents and staff on the team. So let's hear it. Oh, okay.
So Dawn, she started in Hinsdale. She raised her whole family there. So that's kind of how this, all started. And then I would say the past 2 years, we've really expanded more into these different states. So Caitlin, she can talk a little bit more about the branding and kind of how it expanded from the start. But right now, yes, to your point, we are in 5 states, soon to be 6 states. We are launching in Park City, Utah next month. So we're really excited about that. And then we're also in the northern suburbs of Chicago. We're in proper Chicago, the western suburbs, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin. Did I forget anything?
Naples, Florida.
Naples, Florida. Yes, that's a big one.
Yeah, so
I'm missing.
Yeah, so she, Dawn had been an agent herself in Hinsdale in the western suburbs for 15 years. And in 2017, she kind of got the idea that she wanted to expand outside her little hub. And she had been in the western suburbs for years and was really the #1 agent there for a long time. So why she kind of decided to expand was she had a lot of clients coming to her, and they already had their home in the western suburbs, but then they also wanted the condo in the city, or they wanted to retire in Naples, Florida. So they were kind of coming back to her and saying, look, we're not really getting the same experience that you were providing for us when we bought or sold our first house, and we'd just love it if you can help us in either of these markets. So that kind of sparked the whole expansion. So 2017 is really once we became the group. And at that point, then we expanded to Naples, Florida, and downtown Chicago. And as Tory said, most recently, within the past 2 years, we've expanded even further to more of the lake towns, second or third hometowns. So the Lake Geneva, the New Buffalo, and soon to be ski towns in Park City.
All right. And so most of them are luxury markets, right?
Yes, yes, definitely. Western suburbs, northern suburbs, definitely luxury market. Chicago, we do just about anything. We even do a rental portion of our business. So we have a rental team.
But no, I think a really important and smart thing that Dawn was doing and, was scaling her business. So she was really listening to her clients, kind of seeing where they were going, their kids were going. And then instead of just kind of referring business out to other agents in other markets, she kind of had the idea of, I do want to scale my business. Why don't I start opening these other markets and bring in people, and we can talk more about, the people that she brings in and put those people from our team, our specific leads that are very hyper-local in those markets to kind of help serve our clients and still give them that DMG experience that they would receive if they were in Hinsdale with Dawn.
So let's talk about that. The chemistry and the, how you expect, what do you expect from everyone who joins your team? And how does Dawn chooses the team members? It's very important for all of you to like each other, or otherwise the team is not going to work. It's no longer a team, right?
Yeah.
So what's the process?
Yeah, so if you ask anyone on our team, there's some sort of not relation, but someone knew someone else and they kind of made that introduction to Dawn. So Dawn gets a lot of people on a daily basis reaching out, kind of wanting to join the team, which is amazing. But Dawn really, really looks into who the people are that are on their team, and she wants to make sure that they're going to blend in with, kind of our family. So if you ask any one of us, we had someone else kind of vouch a little bit and set up that introduction. And then, obviously Dawn would have that interview with them, but if it is, she knows it's very important for that chemistry because, we are in a very competitive market, and she wants to make sure that not only whoever she's bringing in, they're buying into, the brand and our mission and kind of what we're out there to do for our clients. They just want that, that culture and that chemistry to just be cohesive and everyone's, on the same page and, just kind of have the same end goal. So a lot of it is us kind of bringing in people that we knew and then having Dawn kind of, take it to that next step, I would say.
Right. Well, that is great, and
Yeah.
it's great that you now, since you all work together, you know what your team members like and dislike. So you're not going to recommend someone who's not going to work as hard
Right.
as you are.
Yeah.
Right. And I think too, the other thing, she kind of likes to make sure our team is pretty balanced, like especially in Naples, we have a team member who loves to golf, and he kind of helps with all of the, golfers that want to come to Naples. We have another one on our team that's an equestrian, and, there's certain areas that are kind of bigger with the equestrian community. So she kind of, like Tory said, we have, team members ranging from, 22 to 80 years old and kind of everything in between. And so I do feel like we're pretty well balanced in that sense too, where, there's always someone too that can connect with a specific client, where they're coming from and their interests.
And your marketing department, which is a department because you have quite a few of you on that team, and you also spread the responsibility. Someone is responsible for social media, someone is responsible probably for print or advertisement, right? So a few words about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think in today's, obviously our markets they're all different, but marketing is so important when it comes to real estate and helping, whether it's your buyers or your sellers. So I think we spend a lot of time and energy and money behind our marketing department, which, I mean, it shows right now. I think we have 5 or 7 people on our marketing team. Because there is so much more that goes into it versus, all right, I can put together a simple brochure and I'm going to have these at, the listing. There's a lot more that has to go into it, especially in today's market. We can speak specifically on Chicago, but you have to be doing more. You have to be, thinking outside the box of how you can get your client's property in other markets, other spaces, and get as many eyeballs as you can. So Dawn, she understood that from the beginning, and she put a lot of emphasis and money behind that marketing department. So where she first started to where we're at now, I mean, within the past year, our marketing team has just grown to 7 people. But we really do hit all facets from a marketing perspective. We do print, we do social, just content, we do digital, I mean, you name it. And we have someone on that marketing team that is kind of spearheading that.
And talking about marketing strategy, what Dawn and the marketing department is doing just totally outside of the box and completely different, like you have events, for example.
Yes.
So if I were to ask you, what's the biggest marketing strategy that you are proud about? Would you say it's putting events together for not just open house, but it is like welcome?
Yeah.
Yes, I think that's definitely one of the things we pride ourselves on. Like Tory said, we have a lot of listings too that are, unique property, unique expensive properties, and we need to think outside of the box for some of these properties. So doing things like events is something we really stress. And the good thing about our team too is we're able to invite clients from all different networks. So, the suburbs, the city, our clients in Naples, and we're able to at least just bring a lot more awareness than a lot of other brokers that are really just city centric or city focused. So that's something we really stress too is, yes, our marketing team is great. And we like to say that we're kind of a brand within a brand. But we also, again, market to all these other markets that a lot of other agents aren't able to hit.
And when you do the events, is it just here in Chicago or in other territories as well?
Oh, we do them in all of our markets. So, I mean, yeah, we actually just did one at, Caitlin and I have a very unique property on Astor Street. It's a David Adler home. We call it a home in the sky. It's beautiful. So we actually just had an event there where we brought in a bunch of interior designers to kind of put together a little mood board or a rendering of how they would reimagine the property. So we had a bunch of people from all of our different markets come to support, and they brought their clients as well. But if you kind of dive into all of our other markets, they're doing the same exact thing. So all of our markets are putting a lot of time and energy into these. But the reason we do that is because we've seen the success and we've seen the results. So, we're going to keep doing that in all of our markets until we see differently. So
you see, so when you were talking about events, I assumed it's like catering and champagne for everybody, but it's more than that. So
Yes, and I mean we even had a listing in the South Loop of Chicago. It was right by the art museum. So we brought in a couple local artists who displayed a bunch of art and sculptures all around the property. It was a great space for like an art collector because it had all these white, blank walls, and in the backdrop was Lake Michigan. So things like that, obviously it kind of has to fit the space and make sense. In Naples, they did an event where they had like a mermaid swimming in the pool.
Oh,
so just different fun things to kind of think outside of the box instead of just a happy hour with some champagne.
right.
But that kind of goes hand in hand with, our marketing and the DMG experience, the events, because when we do these events, we're trying to think, all right, who's the buyer that's going to come to this property? And what we do is then we develop, marketing packages about not only the event, but all the details of the property. And we send it to, specific areas in the city where we kind of feel that buyer could potentially come from. So there's just a lot of thought and, marketing behind the scenes that goes into these sort of events. So we really kind of take it one step further in trying to see, who is the person that's going to be buying this and kind of marketing it towards those clients.
So do you create like a lifestyle videos? For example, let's talk about the open house with sculptures and paintings and so on, right? What about the lifestyle video about the area and the neighborhood and how you would introduce, what in addition to living in this property, the area looks like?
Yeah, so I mean, we do a drone video typically of a lot of these big properties where the drone will kind of fly around, and and we'll also like to mention and sometimes have our sellers mention, what are their favorite restaurants that they like to walk to, what's the school down the street that that their kids go to, and camps and stuff like that. So we definitely also again, depending on the target market and who we think the buyer might be, we're kind of really trying to find out who that is and market towards them.
And each of our markets, they have, that hyper-local person that's selling there. So we all live in the markets that we're selling. So Caitlin's in Lakeview, I'm in the Gold Coast. So we even have our own personal experience that we can kind of add to it too. And that's the same for all of the individuals in our market. So we kind of bring a little bit more of a personal touch to it too.
So I wanted to ask you a question about what makes you so different from others, but I think you are so different from others. Yeah. I'm going to skip that question. Because Dawn has so much talent on her team, and all of you, I'm sure, add to each other's talent and bring something different and unique. So so I'm skipping.
Okay. All right.
Let's talk about the technology. And I also understand that you are very involved your team is very involved in technology, and Dawn is creating an app, and she was even featured at Inman, and she was talking about that. So let's talk a little bit about the app and then other technology and AI and artificial intelligence that you are using. So we can start with an app.
Yeah, sure. So Tory and I actually were at Inman last week when Dawn did the launch. So she's partnering with Luxury Presence, who did our website, and basically we came up with the app where it's twofold. It's number one, it's for us as agents, and it's just a better way for us to really have everything in the palm of our hands. A lot of our individual stats and research and data. We're able to also, though, have a really good way to communicate with our clients as well. So if we have someone's house listed, they're able to kind of pull up the profile of their listing, and they can kind of see what marketing we've done for it, all the showings recorded all in one place. And it's just like another way to communicate with clients in a more efficient way. Also on the buy side, if we're working with a buyer, we're able to kind of create our own little profile with the buyer, send properties that way, that we can kind of communicate back and forth on, if they're liking the property or writing some notes. So it's just a great tool for not only our clients, but also us as agents. And some of, the past technology, it's archaic and it hasn't evolved, in years. So I think Dawn kind of wanted to be innovative, and she was realizing that, there's things that we can be doing to kind of not only help ourselves as agents, but our clients too. So everyone's moving at such a fast pace these days. So being able to kind of think about that and put all this into a one-stop shop where we can kind of send stuff off very quickly, I think is going to be a complete game changer for this industry. And so I know Dawn is going to probably
diving into it a little bit more, but we're really excited to kick things off here in the next few months with the app.
So other agents, not just from Coldwell Banker, not just from your team, are able to download the app and use it. So it's not like it's competition or
Correct.
Yeah. So
But basically what other agents are going to be able to do is, they can just go on the App Store, download the platform, and then they can customize it to, be more branded towards their brand and their team. So it doesn't have to look like the, Dawn McKenna Group, how our marketing and everything looks. They can customize it to, their own team and go about it that way.
So the Dawn McKenna Group is famous for providing this beautiful experience for your clients. And you create this amazing marketing strategy for every property. So you are very consistent. Let's talk about the technology that you are using in your marketing strategy. Like, I'm with Matterport. So are you using Matterport? Are you using videos? You just mentioned that drone is very popular because you want to create the story about the property. So you probably start with the drone. Are you doing the walkthrough videos?
Yeah, I think we touch a little bit on everything. So yes, we do Matterports. We have done 3D renderings. If there is a property that it's very unique and we want to kind of showcase it two different ways, and we'll have our team almost put together renderings of, the room could potentially look like this. And then we'll do the videos, the drone videos. A big one right now is TikTok. So we'll come through and kind of have more of that personal touch to it and make it more fun versus, kind of the stiff videos that you've seen, I don't know, years ago. So I would say from a marketing standpoint, we really do touch on every platform that you could think of. But the biggest thing is really just getting it out into as many markets as you can and as many eyeballs as you can. But that goes back to our marketing team too, and why Dawn has invested so much into it, because she knows marketing and content, it's evolving on a daily basis. So you need to have a team that's equipped and ready to evolve with kind of staying ahead of the game in the competition. So
the foundation of your group, I would say, is really the positive experience. So that's the foundation. It's the quality, the experience, the
marketing,
the
brand,
the good service, the brand, and the brand is very strong. So
yes. And another thing I love too that our marketing team does, and we really stress, is we have 2 photographers that will take photos for every listing. So yes, we have the wide angle lens photographer who can, make sure you can see every part of the space. But we also have an editorial photographer who comes in and they usually shoot with the lights off, and they really just get detail shots. And those are photos that look like they're from a magazine. So as you'll see, I feel like our marketing is pretty consistent. Usually someone can, we have clients say all the time, we can look through, properties on the internet and know which ones are Dawn McKenna Group properties because of the photos. So,
and most of the time they say, the seller, when they see their own photos, they say, oh, I want to actually go buy that house when we're trying to sell their place. So that's always good to hear that back from them.
Yeah. And another thing too, we also stress is staging. Again, we always say the first showing is online. So we always want to make sure our photos are we really stress photos. So, sometimes it's a hard conversation to have, but we do try and stage properties that need it. We have an amazing stager that really only works for us. And just the average market time after a property is staged is really low. And, we see results with that. And so, we do want to stage properties when we need to, and usually they sell pretty quickly.
No, I totally agree with you. Staging is very important. Actually, I have my talk show, and I had several stagers on my talk show talking about how the return on investment is incredible.
Right.
And we actually interviewed one of the stager in Connecticut where the seller invested $30,000 in staging the property, and it was sold for close to $100,000 more. However, it's not even that, because the house was close to $5 million. It's not that, it's how fast it was sold.
Right. Exactly. And the faster a property sells, usually the closer it is to list price. So we do, if it needs to be staged, we definitely want to have that conversation. I know it's, not always the easiest for the sellers, but it's worth it.
And you are consistent throughout all the markets. So you have the stager, you have the special photography, you have the story with the drone.
Yes.
Exactly.
And it doesn't matter what price point we're working with, whether it's $100,000 or $100 million, which okay, but you're still getting the same experience. So I think that's a big thing too that kind of sets us apart, is, sometimes we get the question, oh, do you even kind of take a listing that is at this price point? And yes, I mean, we handle everything, and it doesn't matter where you fall in that category, you're still going to get the same exact Dawn McKenna Group experience per listing.
And in today's market, which everyone is saying it's a shifting market, but it's not really, it's the market of opportunities. Did you change any strategies? What did you adjust and adapt with shorter inventory, with higher interest rates?
Yes, I think, during COVID, it's definitely depending on the market. Like during COVID, the suburb market was so hot. Everyone was leaving the city and going to the suburbs. Now we're kind of seeing that change back. People are heading back to the city. Restaurants are open, everything like that. So I think it kind of, depended on the area and depending on the market. I feel like, again, really pushing to have those events back in place. And I think it's easy. It's easy when, it was COVID and things were selling, people were moving. Now is where we really dig our heels in and focus back, and kind of go back to the basics on our marketing and our, branding and all of that.
Yeah. And a big piece is kind of diving more into the data before. So, I mean, when it was COVID, it was almost like we were taking orders because people wanted to move quickly and they knew what they wanted and they wanted to get in before the next person, versus now people are a little bit more hesitant just given the state of the economy. So it's more, to Caitlin's point, going back to the basics, diving into the numbers, diving into the stats, and actually educating our clients in whatever market that is, exactly what's going on today and what we kind of foresee in the future. So has been a little bit more challenging. However, we are still seeing, the movement that we want to see. It's just, it does take a little bit longer than, let's say, last year.
Yeah, and even coming up with ways to be creative, partnering with some of our lenders, to come up with creative ways for whether it's first-time home buyers, doctors getting doctor loans. Even one thing that was really big, just with these high interest rates, is trying to figure out which sellers had assumable mortgages, and kind of advertising that. So just coming up with different ways and kind of really being a resource to our clients and not just putting a sign in the yard and hoping someone comes.
Yeah, no, not your team. No.
Yeah.
Definitely creative, definitely proactive.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
We're trying. So
no, you're not trying.
Yeah,
We're doing
it.
Well, it's a great pleasure. I'm, Dawn should be so proud to have you on her team. I'm sure she is. That you are productive, you are inventive. So it's amazing. So thank you so much.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you. This is great.
And I'm looking forward to meeting Dawn because she will be on my lunch with Lucy. We will talk about the app, and hopefully I will get to see her and interview her in person as well. So thanks a lot. All the best to you both and to your team and to all your clients.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Yeah.